I finished Shuten Order, and while the ability to choose whatever route that has like its own style is great, the plot's pacing suffers for it. Shuten Order starts with Ray waking up and there's a knock on the door, and Ray doesn't remember anything that's going on, and there's like a decent amount of options to interact with like throughout the room, even including the door, right? Except nothing except the door is actually interactable with. There's like all these choices where you just like, hey, someone's knocking at the door, I should check that out. And then you check out the door, it's like, all right, and then you can never go back to these choices. Like, why were these choices even there? It made no sense. And this happens a couple of times where, yeah, there's a lot of options here and you just can't interact with it. There's some that you can, and those are great, but a lot of times, like, why are these options here? I don't understand. Anyways, getting the door introduces you to two new characters that are basically mascots. Forgot what the Genshin characters, but it's like that. It's like Himiru and Mikitoru, right? They introduce themselves as angels and tells you what's happening and telling them, like, hey, you were killed, and honestly, it's probably one of these ministers over here. So now Ray has like a couple of days to figure out which minister and get them to confess, and then Ray has to kill them, get their her life back, right? And it's like after a short common route, you can pick one of the 5 routes, and as a marketing decision, it's amazing. Each route has their own gimmick. One is like a detective slash like ace attorney type thing. One is like a dungeon crawler, death battle, or death match, whatever it's called, where the mini games were total ass except for like the last one. And I think I saw someone say like, hey, it's like Zero Escape when I was searching it up for like, what's the route order? And I can see that, but only if it's like a really dumbed down version of it. The next is like choose your own adventure game. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites. Another is like a parody dating sim thing, which wasn't my favorite. And the last one has a horror element, but it's pretty bare bones, considered something like Outlast, but there's never any real danger of you screwing up. It's like, all right, cool, I guess, but also whatever. So while it's great for sales, where someone might pick it up just for a specific route and all that, but it kind of fucks up anything in terms of plot. I saw that there was really no route order, and going through it, you can say that a lot of routes are references to a point or like indexes to each other. It's like, all right, it kind of makes sense why you would say that, but some of them have a lot more weight to them than others. To the point they can pick up like a route that would give so much insight that it kind of fucks up the whole experience for everything else in the title. And honestly, I can think of it happening maybe twice, to even like 3 times if you notice what was like what the plot piece is referring to. It's like, oh, all right, like it was specifically written in a way for you to notice what's happening around, but that's still way better than the one where it's like it just outright tells you, it's like, hey, this is happening, like, oh shit, all right, that's cool, but I still have a couple more routes to go. So there's 5 routes like I mentioned before, and each one is about like one of the 5 ministers. I mentioned the gameplay themes like above, and respectively the ministers are Inugami, Yugen, Teko, Hanuka, and Manji. Inugami was the one I enjoyed the most, and probably tied with like Teko in terms of plot. In terms of side characters, it's all on Yugen, and it's to the point that it's kind of unfair with how many, there's so many in that route, right? On the other hand, almost all of them are surface level, but to be fair, this isn't really a title that I'll be praising the depth of almost any of these characters. They're all really bare bones at the time. Anyways, Inugami's just kind of like a crackhead, and that's why he's funny. I guess the easiest to explain is he's like Nagito from Danganronpa, kind of, which I think he was also probably my favorite from that one as well. Manjitra is also the only one that disables your ability to save for like chunks at a time, and I'm pretty sure the autosave still functions, though I never confirmed it because I don't use it all that much. Outside of the finale, where they pretty much tell us like, hey, we are disabling your shit. So there was at one point where I just gave up and I had to redo like 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes because I just had other shit to do. It was like, I have work tomorrow, so I had to go to bed, right? What's funny on this one is I kind of get it, because what if your dumbass tries to save right before you get caught by the monster things? Like, all right, but they let you reset whenever, so it's not even a good point. Like, disabling the ability to save would make a lot more sense than all the other routes where you have to do all these decisions, and if you fuck up, your meter goes down and then it goes to a game over. It's like, all right, you can't be save scumming this shit, but they let you do it, so I don't know why they don't let you do it here. It's weird. This also happens in the finale. I think I mentioned that you're locked from saving at all, and I have no idea why. Part of it's entirely the impact of your final choice, I guess, and the finale actually goes on for a decent chunk of time. I think it went over an hour the second time I had to go through to, and just like completely skipping all the fucking text that I already read through. It's like, how is it still an hour? This is like a normal fucking Vienna sometimes. So blocking me from saving just made me waste an hour to get to the other ending, and to be fair, I guess I can be glad I didn't go with the method like Nier, or what was the other title? I forgot what the other game was. But the whole thing is like, yeah, it just fucks up your whole save. It blocks everything. It's like, oh no, my saves. And that would be really awful here. At least I didn't get that right. Overall, Shuten Order kind of gets carried by its final route. I think it was great to the point I was thinking of giving it an 8, but then I'd have to excuse some of the initial routes where I wasn't really a fan of. Some of them felt like really over padded. One made me play mobile games sparingly. It's like, that's not good. And it's almost to the point that outside of 2 aspects, I could really just cut this route altogether and not miss much. I'd say the order would be like Inugami, Teko, Manji, Yugen, and Hanukkah. And at least from what I remember, I think one of the more important parts was done by the end of like Hanukkah's route, and that's why she's there. Otherwise, she could be put earlier on. The fun fact is I started with Yugen, so a lot of events were a lot more apparent from the start. It's like, well, I kind of ruined my experiences. It's great. Honestly, I could have a game that's just all about Inugami hanging around Rei. Inugami can tell what's happening around, but he's always like going along with it and just lets Rei piece it all together by themselves. Like, all right. And it's funny because he's always just joking around. Sometimes like he'll make him the freaking suspect. It's like, hey, more fun. It's like, wow, you're so dumb. There won't be much in terms of spoilers. I think it was kind of funny the first time in Yugen's route where they force you to play these mobile games that you see like ads when you play other games, right? It just kept on going. And I was getting really tired of it. I get the joke that because like, oh, the one who designed it, like designed the whole death game was just ripping this fan fiction from a different character, and they just added their own little extras that weren't read about in the fan fiction, I guess. Which leads to show like how shallow her knowledge set is, and how it works perfectly well, and it makes a lot of sense because she's always bedridden. But at the same time, and I like to believe that considering she likes reading all these things and has all these hobbies, she'd have a little bit more freaking imagination than just having fucking mobile ad games. There's a part in Inugami's route where he mentions not to trust the angels, but every other route shows that no one can see these angels outside of Rei because they're like a program and whatever. And why is Inugami able to see it? And at first I thought, I was like, oh, it was because he took some of this product, I forgot what it's called, but not the virus but something else, and he can sense like the links happening because he's like a droid as well. But I don't know if that's actually like a probable thing to consider. It's like a headcanon. I don't know why that was there. Like, it was cool, but I don't know why Inugami can sense it. Manji's routes infers a lot that she's a droid, and it's to the point that infers that the rest can be as well, but not really Rei, at least from what I can tell. And it's more like, it's like a possibility. It's like, hey, if all these are, then you are as well, probably, right? And it makes sense with like, oh, you got revived. It's like, did you really revive, or did this happen, right? But you can just slams what's going on by the ends of his routes. Like, fuck you, we're all droids. And it's like, oh, all right. And I'm forgetting when, but I think Hanukkah was the route that mentioned that the timer was human lives instead of days, but that might have been in the finale. I don't think so. And that's why I skipped it in the overall thing in the route order, because I'm just not sure anymore. Outside of that, her route is meant to show that like, hey, every other event and all the other routes are happening at the same time. So if you read Yugen's first, you can tell that Rei's running in like 5 different areas at once. Technically, a lot of the routes reference each other. Inugami and Manji have the virus aspect, and Hanukkah and Manji have like the killer droid thing, and Yugen and Manji have the droids as a whole. Hanukkah and Teko point to each other as the culprit. Manji and Teko also mentions each other's like emergencies and each other's routes. There's a lot of little things like the daggers and the cathedrals and blah blah blah. But overall, I think these are the links that I remember the most. It's like, hey, that's cool. I think that part of picking whatever route you want was cool with that. It's just, I think Yugen and Hanukkah kind of fuck it up a little bit, and maybe there could have been like a pre-finale and that handles it there, but what can you do? Overall, I think it was fun. This VN is more like I was entertained instead of this plot was amazing, and that's about it. So when I was editing, I kind of forgot about talking about the endings at all. So there's 2 endings that differ between like what program you ultimately choose, and one where you put it so there's nothing the humans can do to control the droids anymore. Basically removing the remaining like Asimov law, and like the other where you just don't do that and reset all the droids and make them help the humans recreate like a living habitat. It's like, all right, I get it. And there's a pretty clean distinction of which one is the more like happy ending, and it's like, it's just dumb. It's more that has like a time skip, and technically they might hit around like the same end eventually, but there was never any like incentive on helping the humans at all. You never really meet any of them except the ones from like the flashbacks. So I guess from the past, right? And like at most, there was like Himiru and Mikotoru, like the 2 AIs that were basically manipulating you or just being assholes. So there's really no incentive again to like help them at all. So you've all been assholes to me. So it's more of a thing like, oh, things will be different now type of thing. It's like, all right, it makes sense. You're still assholes though. And my main thing is there was never really a thing really stopping the droids from helping the humans after getting their freedom anyway. It's like, why? Sure, there's gonna be like a good chunk that will never really help them at all, just tell them to fuck off. But those are like a good chunk of like all the rebels that will really love helping like all the remaining humans anyway. So you already had those people, and most if not all the ministers would like follow Rei, especially Teko. That's probably like the most important figure to do all of that anyway. Not to mention that most of the cities didn't even know like about half the shit that was going on. It wouldn't really be hard at all just to be like, yeah, we're gonna save you guys, but we're also going to kick your ass if you think about doing any kind of bullshit against us again. So it's like, alright, I get your endings is, I don't know why it feels like one is such a much better ending when their whole thing's like, yeah, we're saving you guys again. It's like, what the fuck. Also, I'm taking a break from reading to finish like a couple RPGs and like other games, like mainly like Monochrome, Mobius, Expedition 33, Judgment. I think Persona 5, I still have like 2 hours left and I'll finish it, I just never did. So the next one will be like the annual tier list and then probably like the Verge fan disc. I might swap them, but I kind of doubt it for now because the tier list takes a while.